Anybody ever notice how many people have these systems or rules for how to grow a business, or how to lose 10 pounds in 12 days or whatever, or how to get a six pack in 30 days? And, they have a regimen for your workout. Oh, how to get the best back, or how to be on the best nutrition plan, or how to build $10,000 a month. This is my system. And it's like, that's all fine and dandy. I'm pleased to see that there are systems that people are working with and that can work for them. But is anybody else done with the hyper optimization of self-improvement and self-development? Is anybody else here done with that? Because I'm starting to just think that I need to retire from self-development. There's nothing wrong with improving and focusing on yourself, but it's almost like people are so hyper focused on the systems that they don't know how to just chill, like how to enjoy life. I was out on a walk yesterday, and I love walks personally. I like walking because for me, that's a good way to round the day off. And I get my best thoughts sometimes when I'm out on a walk because I'm not in like the concrete jungle. I'm actually in the mountains. I get to have a view right by my house. I literally get to just walk outside and boom, like there are the mountains with the snow-capped tops and the green leaves and the grass all below. It looks like freaking Lord of the Rings out there. It's beautiful. And I love walking at this time. And I was watching the sunset, that light pink and orange sunset in the sky. And I just thought, all of this like self-development stuff, all of this, whatever this is, it's fantastic, and it has its place. But damn, sometimes you just need to watch a sunset, man. Like sometimes you just need to chill and watch the sunset and take a look at where you're at and appreciate God's beauty all around you. There's no need to like grind 24/7. We need to work harder. Like, I get it, man. Like, we need that warrior spirit inside of us. We need to cultivate that inner Achilles, I suppose, right? But I mean, damn, like sometimes you just need to chill and watch the sunset and just enjoy your life for a minute. I don't know. It seems like so many people are completely spiritually castrating themselves or neutering themselves from experiencing the fullness of life. And I'm not saying you need to go out there and be a degenerate or that you shouldn't be disciplined. I'm not saying those things. I'm just saying that, have you ever thought about like just being in relax mode, and not for the sake of wanting to be comfortable, but just to appreciate what it means to actually relax, like to actually chill out, to let your nervous system not have to be in a frenzy all the time, to not have to worry. Like, that's the whole point of having a home, right? Like we as men need to go out there into the world and fight the chaos every day. And we need to have our testosterone raised. We need to get those levels, those T levels up, right? We need to build our huevos. But that doesn't mean that we need to just never be able to come back to a home in our hearts. And if you don't have that home in your heart, then you're probably lacking playfulness. And that's what so many men I see now. They don't know how to be playful in a mature way. In actually like a fun way. That they're trying to make jokes here and there. They're trying to be cool and all this stuff. And I get it, and some of them are pretty funny and some of them are pretty cool. Some of these people I heard, they got a lot of swag. But it's like, you can't just do all of these things all the time, like grind 24/7 or try to be funny all the time, like try to be the funny guy. I get it though, like I understand, but sometimes you got to take a step back and look at where you're at. Like yesterday on this walk that I had, I looked up at the sky and I looked up at everything around me. I just was like, man, I live here. I live here. I'm alive right now. And just having that gratitude for life, having that gratitude, and just because I get my joy from gratitude. And in my groundedness of gratitude, I'm able to see things a lot more clear for what they are. And what's funny is how the devil hates when you're trying to grow a certain way. The devil hates when you're actually growing that in a way that is building yourself up. And you're not, sometimes the best thing that you can do is to take a chill pill. Seriously, I'm not talking about drugs or anything like that. I'm not, like, you guys know what I'm saying. Because I think that it's good to be vigilant. And in the Bible, it says that the Lord is a man of war. And so you need to be prepared for war. Absolutely. But if you don't have a home in your heart, man, that's a rough go, man. That's a rough go. That's a rough way to live. And I know what it's like because I was very rigid growing up in many ways, and I was always suppressed in my voice. And this is actually something that somebody brought up in a comment recently on one of my older videos. And he's like, you strike me as somebody that was suppressed in their voice growing up and in their truth. And I said, well, I don't really believe in my truth or your truth. I don't even need to believe. It's like, there is the truth and there are falsehoods. There's no like, oh, it's my truth. Well, there are my experiences and there are your experiences, but the truth in those experiences will manifest themselves accordingly. And the truth about those experiences will be revealed on Judgment Day, as far as I'm concerned. Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, even if there was your truth or my truth, it doesn't really matter in my perspective. And the reason why it doesn't really matter is because all you really need to know is the truth and the falsehoods of this life. Sometimes people are going to lie to you and claim for it to be truth or their truth. It doesn't make, like, to me, it doesn't impact my life what your truth is. You be who you are, sure. But I want to talk about the truth and falsehoods. That's it. Like, when it comes to that kind of topic. But anyway, I've seen a lot of these people online too with like entrepreneurships, like doing a lot more networking on X. People will have all of these steps, oh, you got to do this and you got to do that. Some of those are really good. Like, they really are. Some of them really are good. And then some of them, it's just, they're repeating phrases, or it's kind of like, you guys know the Walmart brand Great Value? It's kind of like the Great Value version of some actual brand, like some of these entrepreneurs out here are like that with the kinds of stuff that they're just rephrasing. And again, that's fine. I understand what they're doing because you got to get engagement out there somehow. You got to put your name out. You got to exert yourself in the world. But I don't think that the goal here is to regurgitate. I think the goal here, because this is something that I've been critiqued of, which is, I find interesting, because the people that are successful or striving to attain peace in their life or have an understanding of where, like they can resonate with this kind of content that I have, they're often the ones that support me the most, even if they disagree sometimes. However, the people that think that I'm bitter or that I'm anxious or that I'm angry, those kinds of people, they're usually anonymous, by the way. Like, they don't ever actually say their name or have a brand. It's just some rando on the internet. And usually it's like they're just trying to upset you. That's all that it is. And as soon as I stop trying to argue with idiots, and I'm not saying all the anonymous people out there are idiots, I'm just saying that as soon as I stop trying to argue with people in general, it doesn't even have to be idiots. As soon as I stop arguing with people, I got a lot more happy. I got a lot more relief. Like, it's like God was showing me I never needed to argue with anybody to begin with. You can have a discussion about things and you can disagree healthily and still have a conversation and you're not arguing. Whenever anybody wants to argue anymore, I'm out. I'm done. Like, yep, had enough. Like, yeah, see ya. I just don't care about that kind of stuff anymore, because I'm to a point now to where I only want to be around people that want to be elevated. And if they're not wanting to elevate and they're wanting to stay in this negative connotation mindset, that's their prerogative. But I don't need to be concerning myself about this. I'm concerned for them. I'm concerned for those kinds of people, because I understand what it's like to go through that. But I'm not concerned in regard to like what they're saying anymore. I'm concerned about the people, because God commands me to love everybody, but I don't need to respect everybody. Okay. And this is something else that I thought about, is like these scientists out here, right? Like, what's a good example here that I had one example in particular I wanted to talk about and speak about. I guess it's just, like any of these scientists online that have a decent amount of following, or psychologists or whatever, or like 5 ways to attract women. Like a lot of this, I just barely thought about this. Like what are they? PUAs, pickup artists. Yeah, they have like 5 ways to easily pick up women. It's like, have you ever tried to just, I don't know, not try? Like that's, Bruce Lee has this thing where he says, it's the technique of no technique in his martial arts now. And he said that he's applying it now to his life. And that always made sense to me. It's good to learn all the rules about certain other types of martial arts, right? Like my Kung Fu instructor growing up, his name was Shifu. We just called him Shifu Master. But we called him Shifu, and Shifu taught us about martial arts in regard to Northern Shaolin Kung Fu was the main one, and then we had Muay Thai, a little bit of Jiu-Jitsu, and then a lot of boxing and kickboxing. And I really liked Muay Thai. Oh, I guess Tai Chi too, but that was a little bit more like for the elderly, right? Because it's more about just the softness of it, but the ever-changing quality. And that's really the point that I want to drive home here, is that if you always have a system, you're never going to be able to open yourself to change if change is actually needed. Because I think systems are great. Like, I have systems for the way that I do things with my business. I have systems for the way that I operate in my life. But my regimen at the gym, for example, is no regimen. I just go till it hurts. That's my regimen. And, recently I ran a 6-miler in the fastest I've ever done a 6-mile run. And it was crazy because it was so funny because I had just made a huge accomplishment for myself. And I felt good after, but I didn't feel like, oh yeah, I just killed it. I just did this. I destroyed I was just like, cool. Like, another day, another record broken, Like it wasn't like I was being pompous, and it wasn't like I was trying to, I just wasn't even hyping myself up too much. It was just like, yeah, I'm going to break it again. And, but this is great. It's like, it's just being able to take a step back and accepting the moment and seeing, wow, giving yourself credit for where you've come from, Thaddeus, is great. Like, that's my self-talk, right? When I talk to myself in those situations, I'm like, Thaddeus, give yourself some credit, man. You used to be almost 200 pounds, and now you just ran the fastest 6-miler you've ever ran in your life. Okay, that's pretty awesome. And I'm like, hey, you know what? Thanks, Thaddeus. I'm talking to myself here, right? And it feels good. It feels natural. My heart feels lifted, and my self-esteem feels intact. But I'm not like overtly excited about it. I'm just like, yeah, Cool. Move on. So many people with self-development, they get to this point, even with semen retention, I see this, because I mean, you know, they're like gonna hype themselves up after they get to a certain amount of days, and then they relapse, and then they feel terrible about themselves. It's like, what goes up must come down, bro. Like, sometimes that's just the way that works, but because like you might psych yourself into doing something stupid if you hype yourself up and be prideful. Remember what the Bible says, pride comes before a fall. And with semen retention, you know, it's best to just consider it a lifestyle and don't even count the days. You know, this isn't a semen retention video, but just thinking about this on the topic for anybody that's interested, a lot of people will get caught up in the days, and it's like, don't just make it a lifestyle. Don't think too much of it, and just accept the blessings as they come and let go of what is old and doesn't really matter to you anymore. Like, and what's not going to serve you and your well-being and God. It doesn't need to be too complicated, and it doesn't need to be this like crazy, oh, we have to be super, like we need to be doing this, we need to be doing that. Like, this is a very Western thing, okay? And and I understand that, and I get it. You know, I love to be productive. I love to work 10 plus hours a day. I like to. But what I don't like to do is having to sacrifice my peace and my happiness for achievements. Because sometimes the achievements, like, I understand, and people might disagree with this, and that's fine. But the thing is like, I get my achievements because of who I am. I don't have my achievements make me who I am. And this is why I think a lot of men and women out there that are so caught up with the achievements, and, you know, have a chip on your shoulder. If you need to have that chip on your shoulder, you go for it, man. You go for it. Because I get it. I understand what it's like to have a chip on your shoulder, and that will drive you. There's nothing wrong with ambition. Okay, I'm just saying I'm retiring from self-development because I think you can get caught up in like a loop. I think you can get caught up in this loop of self-development and like getting better. Like if you're just naturally evolving, you're gonna naturally get better all the time. I planted pinto seeds, like pinto bean seeds, yesterday, and I realized, I'm like, man, I'm like literally planting seeds in my life right now, and just seeing the potential for growth. You know, it's like, this is awesome. This is cool. I'm going to, like, this is what matters. You know, this is what matters. Like, going back to our roots of who we really are as human beings. We're tenders of the garden. Okay. We're not builders of these fabrications of society. We're not attention seekers. We are tenders to the garden. And woman is man's helpmate in doing this. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with having ambition and you know, desiring a certain direction and all that. But man, some of these people are taking themselves way too seriously, I think. And I take myself seriously. I suppose it's more sincerely than seriously. I take myself sincerely, not seriously. And I just like to have a good time, you know. I love to have a good time, and I would love to be more playful with people. But it seems like people either have sticks up their butts or they're just hyper aggressive, man. Like, a lot of people are just animalistic. And I get it. I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to degrade these people. I'm just saying that this is the way that it is, and this is the way that I'm seeing things. And if we really want to see a change in the world, I genuinely believe we always just, like, we just need to calm down. Cool your head and just do a little bit of meditation, do some prayer, have a nice meal, and chill. It's really not going to be too difficult, I think. But anyways, guys, that's the message that I have for you today in this video. And I appreciate everybody tuning in, dropping likes, comments, and I really enjoy seeing the people's comments here because I want to actively engage with you guys, right? I want to actually be with you guys. I want to co-create with you along this journey, and that's what I'm striving to do. And if you are interested in joining an elite group of spiritual people like the Regal Change Academy has, check out the link in the description box below. We will be doing the prints for the next class series. I will be sending out an official announcement within the next few days, and that'll be starting on May 10th. So May 10th, that is going to be a Saturday. I'll set out the dates. It's not going to be too long of a class series because we've had a couple different kinds of class series in the past. We've had the 7 Deadly Sins, where we read Dante's Inferno, The Art of War, and then we just finished The Legends of Stoicism, and those ones were a bit longer, but I think this one is probably going to be only about 5 or 6 weeks. The others were about 6 to 8 weeks, and I'll give you guys more information when the time comes, but just as a heads up, and this will only be for people that are in the Regal Change Academy. But if you do want to sign up for the free Telegram, we have the free Telegram channel for the Regal Change Insights in the link in the description box below. And that will, like all those messages in there, they'll auto delete after 24 hours. So you'll get the information, write it down in your journal or whatever if you need to, and then, do what you would like to after that. But I appreciate everybody. I hope everybody stays blessed out there. I'm retired from self-development, but that doesn't mean that I'm not evolving. All right? We're going to still evolve. And I'm not saying this is, again, you don't have to do anything I'm recommending you to do. Because I have precepts. Like I have 34 precepts for the Regal Change movement. Because this is not just a movement. Like this is not just a brand. It's a movement, right? And that's the way that I think about it. Because we're revolutionizing spirituality and psychology. And that's the goal here. That's absolutely the goal. And I think that in many ways, people get too hyper focused on efficiency and optimization and this is the best way to do this. This is the best way to do that. If you really want this, then you got to do that. It's like, just do your research on your own, man. Like, take everything that you see with a grain of salt. Like, even myself, like, take it with a grain of salt. So I hope everybody stays blessed. Peace be with you. Until next time.